Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. So, after blogging the recent Blue Beetle movie last episode, now would be a good time to go back to the DC animated movie universe to talk about the Teen Titans again. As I stated before, last year I blogged Teen Titans The Judas Contract, and ever since I first watched it during the mid-2010s, it was a very thought-provoking movie, but it did have a few flaws for me, like a few pacing issues, as well as several religious references that made me feel a bit uncomfortable. But the things that I really liked about it was that the animation was fantastic. I liked Tara's role in it, as well as Christina Ricci's performance. It brought back a lot of fond memories from the Teen Titans show. Deathstroke was a very threatening villain, and for Miguel Ferrer's final role before his death, he was great. However, today's blog is not only an animated film that I've been wanting to share for several years, but it also features the darkest and most devilish villain ever. Released to DVD and Blu-ray on April 12, 2016, the movie is Justice League vs. Teen Titans. Now, on for the plot of the movie. When Damian Wayne's over-aggressive tendencies almost destroy a Justice League mission, he is sent to learn teamwork by training alongside the Teen Titans. However, adjusting Damian's attitude turns out to be the least of the Teen Titans' troubles, as Raven's satanic world-conquering father, Trigon, begins an escape from his interdimensional prison. To complete his return, Trigon must have Raven's assistance, and to accomplish his goal, he spreads his demonic forces across the globe, infiltrating the minds and bodies of the Justice League to do his bidding. To save the universe and prevent a literal Tartarus on Earth, the Teen Titans must rescue or defeat the Justice League and intern Trigon for all eternity. So, what are my thoughts? Well, to me, this movie was dark, epic, serious, twisted, and thought-provoking. And I love every bit of it. And to further explain why I love it, let's move on to Mustang notes. The movie was directed by Sam Loy, who also directed The Judas Contract and several other animated DC films, and the screenplay was written by Alan Burnett and Brian Q. Miller. It is the 26th film of the DC Universe animated original movies and the 7th film in the DC animated movie universe. The film was announced by DC Comics along with Batman Bad Blood in July 2015 during the San Diego Comic-Con. The film had its world premiere at the Los Angeles WonderCon on March 26, 2016. Now, what are my thoughts on the animation? Well, like the Judas Contract and several other DC films, this style of hand-drawn animation is amazing. Not only do the character designs look great, but I also love the look of Titan's Tower, which to me looks equally as great as it did during the 2000s, and I think it's way better than the Teen Titans Go version. Not only that, but I also think Tartarus, where the Titans go to retrieve a crystal in order to re-imprison Trigon, is a very hot and devilish looking place. And I still hope that I won't end up down there after I pass away in the future. Plus, this movie also brings back a lot of fond memories from the Teen Titans show, mostly the episodes that involve Trigon, like Nevermore, and the 3-part season 4 finale, The End. Also, one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the part where the Titans go to a carnival in order to become more familiar with each other. And I think the fight scenes are very epic, intense, thrilling, dark, and thought-provoking. Like during the scene where the Titans fight Trigon's demon minions. And I thought the scene where the Titans fight the Justice League was not only pretty similar to the hero versus hero fight in Captain America Civil War, but I thought it was a lot better. Why? Well, not only because the League want to take Raven away, but during their encounter, they become possessed by Trigon's shadow and turn into demons, which to me kind of makes this movie almost like an animated version of the Evil Dead films. The latest one being a film that I may blog later on my show. And that's all I got for Mustang notes. So let's move on to the characters and the voice actors who brought him to life. Our main character, Damian Wayne, aka Robin, is voiced by Stuart Allen, who got to be in Guess How Much I Love You, and he's been voicing Damian ever since Son of Batman. Due to him being tired of being placed in worthless positions during fights with supervillains, Damian defied Batman's orders and took matters into his own hands when a mysterious being possessed Weather Wizard. As punishment, Damian was sent off to live with the Teen Titans. To me, Damian can be egotistical, rude, and arrogant in this movie due to his insufferable past. But as the film progresses, while training with the Titans, Damian learns about the value of teamwork, and his attitude becomes kinder and more generous, like during the scene where he gives a little girl his prize at the carnival. Also, I thought the part where Damian fights an undead version of Ra's al Ghul in Tartarus was pretty gory, but also epic. Next is our second main character, Rachel Roth, aka Raven, voiced by Taissa Farmiga, whom was in the American Horror Story TV shows and The Nun, which just recently received a sequel. To me, Raven has got to be the most interesting in this movie, not only because she's Trigon's daughter, but I also find her to be very sympathetic and relatable due to her considering herself as an outcast, being somewhat rebellious and unable to fit in with others. And I thought her backstory involving the destruction of her home, Azarath, and the death of her mother, Arella, was very dark and shocking. Also to note, while Taissa Farmiga is no Tara Strong, I think she pulls off a great voice performance. After escaping from Trigon's dominion and joining the Teen Titans, Raven became antisocial, displaying little to no emotion, and she keeps to herself, as well as trying to keep others from knowing about the tragic circumstances that defined her. But on the positive side, I like that Raven regards Beast Boy and Blue Beetle as her brothers and Starfire as her big sister, showing that she regards them as her adopted family. And I like the scenes where she and Damian get to know each other and grow a close relationship with each other. Next we come to Princess Coriander, aka Starfire, voiced by veteran voice actress Carrie Walgren. Cori is the current leader of the Teen Titans, and she's the love interest of Dick Grayson, aka Nightwing. To me, I still find Starfire to be a very kind and caring person, and despite the fact that she's not of Earth, she's just as human at heart as many of her friends and teammates. And I also think she's a decisive and capable leader in most circumstances. Plus, Starfire also enjoys teaching, as she leads most of the team's training sessions, usually by herself or in conjunction with Nightwing. She often plays the role of surrogative sister to her teammates, most notably with Beast Boy and Raven. However, she has difficulties with connecting to Damian, whose ruthlessness and one-track mind has caused her great discomfort. And she kind of compared Damian to her sister Blackfire while talking to Nightwing. The rest of the Titans include Garfield Logan, aka Beast Boy, voiced by Brandon Sue Hu, and Jaime Reyes, aka Blue Beetle, voiced by Jake T. Austin. Garfield is a former Doom Patrol member who has the ability to shapeshift into any animal, and he can be cocky, sarcastic, energetic, and unpredictable at times, while Jaime has a mental connection to the Scarab who's fused to his spine, while granting him the Blue Beetle armor and a number of superpowers like superhuman strength, durability, an energy cannon, blades, a shield, and flight. And I liked the scene where Jaime saves Cyborg from Trigon's corruptors by firing an energy blast from his suit. Next up is Damian's father, Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, voiced by Jason O'Mara, who's been voicing him ever since Justice League War. Now, this version of Batman is pretty different from the late Kevin Conroy's portrayal in the 90s animated series. You see, he's a strategist, he's cunning, and he has sheer willpower. And of course, he's the most mature and rational out of all the members of the Justice League. During this movie, Bruce's reason for sending his son Damian to the Teen Titans is so that he could learn how to be part of a team. After Weather Wizard and later Superman became possessed by Trigon's corruptor, Bruce and the rest of his teammates investigate several magic attacks, and they track down and identify the girl with supernatural powers whom the identity was after. Plus, during the League's confrontation with the Titans, I like the part where Bruce avoids possession by knocking himself out with a nerve toxin. Next is Clark Kent, aka Superman, voiced by Jerry O'Connell, whom was in Scream 2, Mission to Mars, Kangaroo Jack, and Piranha 3D. To me, Superman is still the most noblest and kindest of the Justice League. And during this movie, Clark has been going out with Diana Prince sometimes. However, not long after fighting the Legion of Doom, Clark becomes corrupted by one of Trigon's corruptors, and he flies to an unknown desert, burrows into the ground, and raises to the surface an ancient machine. Thankfully, later in the film, Damian manages to save him by stabbing him with a shard of kryptonite, and when Diana and Barry get possessed, Clark saves them by using Diana's lasso and breaking Flash's left leg. The rest of the Justice League include Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman, voiced by Rosario Dawson, Barry Allen, aka Flash, voiced by Christopher Gorham, and Victor Stone, aka Cyborg, voiced by Shemar Moore. Diana is the Amazon warrior princess of Themyscira, who represents truth. Barry is a forensic scientist for the Central City Police Department and the fastest member of the Justice League. And Victor is the former quarterback of the Titans football team, who became a literal cyborg after holding the mother box. And to be honest, out of these three heroes, I think Cyborg sticks out the most in this movie due to him relating to the Titans more closely than the other members of the League, as he's closer in age to the teens. While he remains with the Justice League, he visits the Teen Titans on occasion. Finally, we come to Raven's father and the film's main villain, Trigon, voiced by John Bernthal, whom was in World Trade Center, Night at the Museum 2, Date Night, The Peanut Butter Falcon, Ford vs. Ferrari, and the Daredevil TV series. Like Slade, Trigon has been regarded by DC fans as one of their greatest villains. But unlike Slade, Trigon is a lot more evil, manipulative, and dangerous. And I like to consider him as the Thanos of DC. Kinda. Anyway, unlike his previous animated versions, I think this version of Trigon is a lot more ferocious and monstrous. Also, like in the 2000s animated series, I think his history with Raven is very toxic, twisted, devious, and thought-provoking. His evil plan in this movie is to send his demons to possess the Justice League in order to get to Raven so that he can get out of Tartarus and wreak destruction upon Earth. But thankfully, Raven manages to stop him by getting a crystal from his realm and traps him inside, while also attaching said crystal to her forehead for safekeeping. And now on to my final words. Overall, Justice League vs. Teen Titans is a very thrilling film to come from the DC animated movie universe, and I consider it a lot better than the Judas Contract. It has a very serious and thought-provoking story, memorable characters, even though Damian Wayne was a very arrogant brat sometimes, superb voice acting, hardcore, epic, and intense action scenes, as well as moments that brought back memories from the Teen Titans show. Also, I like that this movie mostly centered around Raven, and having Trigon as the main villain was very twisted. However, this is a film that I wouldn't recommend for younger audiences due to the fact that it features gore, sexual innuendo, adult language, crude humor, and frightening imagery. But if you are a DC fan, then be sure to keep your eyes open for this movie. I give it a 96% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me next time as we look at one more DC animated film which centers on the most underrated super team ever, Mustang Power.